Township Council is called to order. Madam Clerk.
In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of the Tuesday, July 14th, 2020 work session, or regular meeting of the Franklin Township Council was provided as required by law.
Okay, I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Council members don't have to stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Councilman Vassanella, if you can do the invocation.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's take the next few moments of silence. To each in our own way, seek whatever source of inspiration will grant us the strength and power in our thoughts and decisions to be for the benefit of all people at all times. To keep in our thoughts and prayers all the victims affected by COVID-19. Amen.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Here.
Councilman Chase?
Here.
Councilwoman Francois? Councilman Galtieri?
Here.
Mayor Kramer?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Oni Jaka? Councilwoman Pruitt? Here. Councilman Vassanella?
Here.
Councilman Wright?
It looks like Councilwoman Francois is signing on right now. Innovations and proclamations, we have none. We are now on to public discussion. We have a motion to open for public discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of opening for public discussion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We're open for public discussion. We are limiting to 2 minutes. Mr. Manager or Mr. McQueen.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. For anybody that wishes to speak in public session, if you were logged in via the computer, please open your chat window and use the raised hand feature on the lower right-hand side. If you're on the phone, you can use *6. I have one that I am going to unmute now for public comment. Okay, Mr. Bayo, you are unmuted.
Mr. Bayo, please state your name and address.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good evening, Franklin Township Council members. My name is Yifan Bao. I live in, my address is 11 Almond Drive, Somerset, New Jersey. So I'm a resident of the Franklin Township and an ambassador for the Burglaries Project, which is a nationwide political campaign that aims to make alleviating global poverty a focus of U.S. foreign policies. Today, I want to introduce the Burglaries Project to Franklin Township's council members with the goal of encouraging more people to become volunteers at my organization to join the fight to end global poverty. And let me first explain the 2 rationales behind giving foreign aids and helping out the poor. First is national security. When people lose hopes and opportunities, it creates a gap for terrorist organizations to jump in and offer monetary incentives to recruit. And foreign investments prevent just that. The second reason is economics. Through foreign investments, people under extreme poverty can be transformed from...
I recognize it, I just don't know.
Excuse me? Say it again?
You can continue.
Oh, okay. Sorry. The second reason is economics. Through foreign investments, people under extreme poverty can be transformed from being barely surviving to working poor, and then to consumers of American goods and services, supporting the businesses back home. And the Burglaries Project aims to help the people under poverty through 4 ways. We meet with U.S. leaders to build support for life-saving legislation, mobilize people to make poverty a political priority, teach basic advocacy skills that allow citizens to communicate with their government, and build awareness of global issues through our online and community presence. In 2018, with the help of Burglaries volunteers from 931 cities, we had meetings with we had a total of 762 meetings with congressional offices. That's totaling 97% of the U.S. Senate. We helped to pass 7 important legislations, such as the Global Health Innovation Act. The Borgen Project is still actively recruiting volunteers and interns. Key responsibilities of volunteers and interns include holding lobbying meetings with congressional offices, writing to the local newspaper, mobilizing others to email Congress, and many more. Please help to spread the words about the Borgen Project so more people can join the fight to end global poverty. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak in this council meeting.
Thank you. I will now mute you. Is there any other members of the public that would like to speak? Please indicate by raising their hand. Mr. Bayo, if you could put your hand down by clicking on the same hand icon. Mr. Mayor, I do not see anybody else indicating they would like to speak.
Mr. Mayor, are you talking? Because you're on mute.
Thank you. I'll repeat what I was saying. Thank you. I thank you for what you just said. You have my cell phone number because we talked earlier. Perhaps there's something that we can work out. Please give me a call. If you call me during the day, don't be surprised if it goes to voicemail. But perhaps we can continue this conversation offline. Mr. McQueen, are there more people wishing to speak?
There's no one else that indicated they would like to speak.
Okay. You have a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of closing the public portion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. Public portion is closed. We're on to Township Council comments and committee reports. I will do it in screen order. Councilwoman Brewer. Yeah, unfortunately, you guys don't know what my screen order is.
Nope, I did not realize that. So thank you, Mayor. I wanted to take a portion of my council comments to read a statement on behalf of our governing body. We have been receiving correspondence and questions from the public as it relates to addressing the interactions of police and members of our Black community, as well as policing overall. It's not a strange thing. It is part of the national conversation, and it's something that we have a responsibility to address to our public. So I will read the statement now. As millions of citizens across our country are moved to collective action to protest the deep-rooted institutionalized racism in this country that has resulted in the deaths of so many African Americans, it seems the nation as a whole is ready to address the problem with real systemic change, and so are we. Here in Franklin Township, we have always prided ourselves in exemplifying the type of diversity and equal opportunity that so many other communities continue to strive for. This does not mean that we are exempt from the need to review our policies, procedures, and goals as well in order to ensure that our citizens' needs are being met. Our new civilian police director is leading the way with a review of police procedures, including training and response measures that will not only include internal discussions, but will also look to incorporate best practices elsewhere and significant community input before any final decisions are made in regard to the Public Safety Department. At the same time, the rest of the municipal government will be reviewing other policy areas in order to identify how local services can better serve the needs of our residents, including the possibility of working more closely with community organizations and other regional support groups in providing these services. Again, however, we need to hear from a wide range of residents as possible before implementing any new policies or procedures. It is only in this way that we can best ensure that these efforts will truly meet the needs of our community. And we fully support the national movement towards justice and equality for all. It is imperative as we move forward that our residents are not only part of the discussion, but also remain engaged in the long term. While the COVID-19 pandemic has made things more difficult in terms of in-person discussions, council meetings are being held virtually right now and allow for public participation. Of course, the Township Council and other municipal officials remain available by phone or by email for any resident who wishes to express their thoughts and ideas on a more singular basis. This is a process that will not be completed overnight, but will be an ongoing effort for months and years to come. And as we all work to make Franklin Township an even stronger and more unified community for many generations to come. So with that being said, I think this is a great segue to discuss public safety. So we just had a public safety committee meeting this evening right before this council meeting. So I did want to report out to the community that the NPT unit, which is our community policing unit. Neighborhood Police Team, which everyone was just like, what is that? Which is, I think, is believed the name has been changed to community policing. But there will be a community relations bureau, a physical location at 935 Hamilton Street. And there will be a kickoff sometime in August, so next month. There will be an increasing of that bureau. So there will be 4 officers and a sergeant. So we will keep you posted on the specifics of that kickoff and the community engagement that will be happening there. I also wanted to report out that there were concerns about some car burglaries. I wanted to report out that there have been 4 arrests made over the past several weeks related to those burglaries. There is a revitalized and focused traffic enforcement plan that will be rolled out in the very near future. So if you were getting comfortable speeding, you should probably stop now. The police director is also utilizing proactive and early intervention procedures, including data that will monitor and allow her, or the department to track racial police stops based on, demographic information, as well as CompStat and other benchmarks, which will allow for more data-driven decision-making and policing. And it's something that the Public Safety Subcommittee will be working on, and with the public safety directors, they can make good decisions. And that is all I have, besides just keep wearing masks, people. The pandemic's not over. Remain social distancing when you can. Be safe and be well. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Councilman James Fasinelli.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to remind everyone, I think it was the last point that Councilwoman Pruitt referenced, that the pandemic, or I should say the virus, has simply not gone anywhere. Fortunately, as bad as it was in New Jersey, the diligence of most people has gotten it under control, but same virus is out there floating around. So understand it's summer and virtually and otherwise school is out, and we're all trying to do things to maintain some normal aspect of life. But again, virus can come back. I shouldn't say come back, it hasn't gone anywhere, but can reappear in ways that we don't want it to, meaning positive tests and illnesses and death. So have fun, but be careful. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Fasinelli. Councilwoman Kimberly Francois.
Hello, Mayor. I have nothing to report. No committees have met. Council comments. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Ambasari.
Thank you, Mayor. 24th, we had a virtual meeting with the Human Relations Commission, Director Squirrel was a special guest and speaker, and she laid out her vision and some of the things that she would be focusing on. So I think that was well received by the members. There was a subcommittee that was formed in the meeting to come up with ways to engage the community more, to solicit some ideas and feedback in the current environment, to get more people engaged and bring some action items to the council. So that's 3 people in the membership in the council in the commission will be working on that project going forward. The next meeting is scheduled for July 22nd. The outgoing junior member, the commissioner, has been now replaced with a new member, junior commissioner, Aryan Shah, from the high school. So that's all about the Human Relations Commission at this point. I did attend 2 other COVID testing events organized, one by Assemblyman Danielson and one by the Township, which is all a company. They came and did the testing at the middle school, so I stopped by briefly in the morning. But the Board of Education event on June 29th, I stayed there the whole time. It was non-stop traffic there all day long. In fact, we had to turn away in the last 15 minutes or so. We had to turn away from the people. We redirected them to the Ward 3 location because that was not that crowded. So overall, I say that a lot of people came in to get tested. Both of them were good events as far as I know. Other than that, I have nothing else to report at this point. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Will Beltran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, I'd like to begin with, so as you know, I've been working with the Franklin Food Bank and the SALT Foundation, which is another foundation that started up to help distribute food to those in need right now. And they've been doing a pop-up food distribution twice a week on, I think they've gone to every other week in Franklin now, but trying to do it twice a week. I'd like to first thank Councilman Embarrasson and his group who have volunteered to sew masks because that was one of the requests. We could always use more masks, and both at the SALT Foundation and I'm sure the Franklin Food Bank could use those. If you're willing to sew reusable masks, then we can arrange to have them dropped off and distributed from the senior center still, where we've been doing our donation collection. There was a request though from SALT Foundation in particular. They're looking for some baby and toddler personal care products, wipes, diapers, and so forth, anything that people can spare to help out, as well as some paper products, which I know everybody's struggling with, but if you have some items to spare, it'd be greatly appreciated. And one other request is for laundry detergent to help with the cleaning of clothes and everything. So if you have any items that you're willing to donate, again, we are still doing the collections at the senior center, and we can get the products to the organizations in need. And thank you again to our food banks and SALT Foundation and everybody that's been trying to help support our residents in this time, in this crisis. So moving on, congratulations to our graduating seniors. I know graduation over the past couple of days was not normal, but thank you to the Board of Ed for giving some normalcy and giving some excitement for the conclusion of one portion of your academic careers. As far as township business, the township manager has informed me that line painting on New Brunswick Road to help with some of the speed control, talking about public safety there, as well as giving some dedicated bike lanes on New Brunswick from Cedar Grove to DeMott should be happening soon. So please pay attention as these go into effect and be aware that there will be some new traffic patterns. And it's designed to help reduce speed on the road, help control some of the incidents we're having at intersections, as well as provide safe passages for people that want to get out and bike and exercise safely. Road paving, some of it has already begun, but I believe Public Works will meet this month to finalize the list. We have received some requests for additional roads, so we're evaluating those to see if we can swap some out or if we have additional funding. So hang on, everything's not finalized, but we should start. That should be approved for the August meeting so that there is a majority of our road paving is done before late fall and, of course, before the winter arrives. Finally, I will echo what everybody else is saying. Please stay safe. This virus has not gone away as we were hoping. It's not going away. New Jersey's been fortunate to be in somewhat in a lull right now, and we hope that it stays like that. But at the same time, please continue to support our local businesses. There was that shock when we were hoping that there was going to be indoor dining and some of our restaurants stocked up, and that's an expense to them. So if you can help support our local restaurants, local businesses, that's what keeps residents employed, and that's what keeps it just keeps some of the uniqueness to the town of the services provided. So please please remember to support our businesses. And again, stay safe, everybody. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Pedro Chase.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had a virtual meeting of the Land Use and Open Space Committee on June 24th. We talked about the preservation of one farm. I can't go into any detail about that. And then mainly had a discussion prompted by Councilman Vasanella regarding concerns about overcrowded housing in the township and the illegal conversion of housing. For instance, conversion of one family house into 2 or more apartments. After committee discussion, it was recommended that Mr. Vornlacher convene a review of the matter by the various departments involved, including planning and zoning, code, fire prevention, and the county health department. The review should consist of a review of township ordinances and a review of current enforcement methods and responsibilities. The review should identify any existing loopholes, any weaknesses in ordinances and or in enforcement, and potential changes in the ordinances or enforcement to better the matter. So this can be a problem, yet we don't want to be as draconian as New Brunswick is in this area. Both the landlords and the renters wish that we wouldn't. The Environmental Commission has been meeting virtually regularly and I hope at our next meeting next Monday, we will finally settle on the text of a proposed ordinance on banning plastic bags for taking things home from supermarkets and other markets, banning polystyrene, expanded foam, food service, clamshells and plates, and banning plastic straws with some left for disabled people who need plastic straws in food service establishments. But so I hope before the next meeting, the council will have that before them. We've also had a good deal, some interest from members of the public in energy aggregation for the township. I think I've told them probably needs to wait until we can meet in the council chambers again and they can come and speak in person about that. I know council talked about that several years ago, but now there does seem to be some public groundswell for this, at least a few people. So I hope that we'll be discussing that at a future meeting. And for those of you who can get out to an open space with a good view toward the northwest after 9:15 or so, you can look for the comet that is currently passing by Earth. It's to be seen in the northwest in about an hour after sunset. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Deputy Mayor Onijaki. Deputy Mayor, you're muted.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I want to use this privilege to congratulate Franklin High School students who graduated on the 13th of July, despite the tough time caused by this coronavirus. In fact, I was privileged to be with one of them, and he expressed happiness. In as much as it's a tough time for them, they couldn't enjoy their privilege, but at least they're able to graduate, to move forward with their lives. Thank you, Mayor. That's what I have for today.
Thank you. I have 4 comments. My first comment is the library is open in limited capacity. 34 constituents allowed in at a time. There's no place to sit unless you're in medical rid of it. The computers aren't available for use, but you can browse the stacks, drop off books, and pick up books. My other comment, my second comment is masks. My third comment is masks. My fourth comment is masks. It is the way to dig out of this. We are, I disagree with Councilman Galtieri. We're not fortunate to be at a low. We worked hard for that low. I'm not arguing with him. He realizes that. And we can go farther, or we can become California, Texas, Georgia. Wearing masks is a way to open businesses. Those businesses need it. If we all wear masks, keep our social distancing, wash our hands, get tested, do contact tracing, we can start opening businesses and get us more back towards normal. I guess I have a 5th item. I'm working with Assemblyman Danielson, Reverend Soares, Mr. Bornhofer, and the Interfaith Council are trying to, we can get the kits, are doing major numbers of testing. We're going to hear more about that later if we can get a hold of the kits. We're doing a major push. That's all I have, Mr. Manager. You're up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm going to kind of segue into something that you just left off on, and that's about where our state is at as far as COVID-19 and some of our limitations right now and how it has impacts on Franklin Township. Most notably right now, I need to speak to council and the public about Franklin Day Festival. Unfortunately, Franklin Day Festival is scheduled for 2 months from right about now. And right now, the state of New Jersey is limited to 500 people in public gatherings outdoors. And my anticipation is that that number will not increase dramatically between now and September. So therefore, it's unfortunate, but Franklin Day Festival is a large event that takes a great deal of planning and commitment from vendors. And I think it would be unfair to the vendors involved in that event to try to schedule it knowing what we now know about the course of this virus and how it's impacting other states on round 2. And so it's my recommendation at this time that we cancel Franklin Day Festival for this year. If I hear a great deal of resistance from our elected officials, certainly I work for all of you, and I'm bringing this to you now 2 months ahead of time. I don't think it's fair to the vendors to wait any longer at this point and string them along. I think that it's time that we make that public notice now that the event is canceled for 2021. I've seen events canceled as far in the future as October. Toms River Township, which has an annual large-scale Halloween parade every year in the downtown, has already canceled their Halloween parade for this year. It's not uncommon for us to be looking to the future now and saying that these large events right now are too dangerous to hold. It puts too many people at risk.
Do any council members have a comment on that?
Thank you.
I will certainly comment. I don't see how we could practically do it. I mean, there was hope against hope that things would open up more. I just don't see how we could practically or safely do it. Any other comments?
Yeah, I also agree. I think it's wise to cancel that.
Okay, thank you. Now, I will tell you that Councilwoman Francois did bring something up to me about 2 or 3 weeks ago. One of the more popular aspects of Franklin Day Festival with our residents here in Franklin Township has been the construction permit amnesty. It was something that many people took advantage of at Franklin Day Festival, and I've had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Lupo, and we tried to come up with something that was of some significance as it related to construction permits. Well, lo and behold, don't you know that October 7th of this year will be the 45th anniversary of the adoption of the Uniform Construction Code here in New Jersey. So we've decided that the week of October 5th of this year will be Construction Permit Amnesty Week. And we will have information on our website as we begin to move towards that and give people the same opportunity they had in previous years from Franklin Day Festival, but we'll do it as a week-long. And if it has to be virtual, it'll be virtual, but we'll make it happen so that everyone who has done construction work, and perhaps they've been doing construction work on their home while they've been quarantined over the last 3 months and they didn't get permits, and now they'll have an opportunity to have amnesty and get some forgiveness and get their houses up to code. So that's where we're going with that, and I thank Councilwoman Francois for reminding me that was something that people look forward to each year as an opportunity to fix things that they hadn't done properly. So that will be done. Next thing I want to talk about is tax bills. As some of you may have noticed, you have not received your tax bills yet. Again, another COVID-19 casualty has been the county tax board's ability to certify tax rates, and so there has been a delay in the issuance of our third and fourth quarter tax bills for 2020. What that means is this: once the certification is done and the tax bills are issued, the new tax due date is 25 calendar days from the issuance of the bill. So if that bill were issued on, say, July 20th, 25 days from the 20th of July would be the 14th of August. That would become the new due date, and 10 days after that would be the grace period, bringing it to August 25th. Now, later in this agenda, we'll discuss a resolution that may extend that grace period even further, but at no time would it be extended further than September 1st. But I just want everyone to understand, and it's on the website, and we put it out on social media, the reason why you have not gotten your tax bill is not because it's lost in the mail, it's because the tax rates have not been certified as of yet, and there's been a delay in the issuance of the bills themselves. But you'll get more time to pay them based on the fact that the bills are coming late. So that's tax bills. And the last is just in furtherance of Councilman Galtieri's comments about the improved striping and bike lanes on New Brunswick Road between Cedar Grove and Willow. Cedar Grove and DeMott. Councilman Vasanella has lobbied very hard for his constituents who walk in the area of New Brunswick Road and JFK Boulevard, and I've been told that we've finally reached a point where the engineering is done, The purchase orders are done and the scheduling is done with the contractor, who is in fact the county, to install new equipment at New Brunswick Road and JFK Boulevard to allow for left turn arrows and also improve pedestrian safety measures. And that should be done, hopefully first or second week of August. As I was told first week, always allow for some weather, but it looks like first week of August, that equipment and striping will be done at that intersection as well. So, and that goes in line with the striping that's also being done on New Brunswick Road further down from DeMott to Cedar Grove. So there you have it. And that's my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Item number 9, Township Council discussion items. There are none. Item number 10, approval of the minutes. I present the following minutes to the Township Council for approval. The Township Council work session regular meeting of June 23rd, 2020 at 7 p.m. Do I have a motion on the minutes?
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Anyone want to discuss it, make a correction? Seeing none, Madam Clerk. Madam Clerk. Roll call.
Councilman Barrison?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Oni-Jaka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Thank you. Approval of the warrants. Warrants in the amount of $8,809,513.69 on July 14, 2020 are presented to Township Council for payment. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anyone want to pull an item or discuss an item? Madam Master Clerk.
Councilman Barrison?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Oni-Jaka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
I'm sorry, yes. I thought you heard me. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So the warrants are passed. We're now on to public hearing and adoption on second reading. This will be a public hearing and a vote on this ordinance. Ordinance 4327-20. Ordinance amending the municipal code of Township Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 50, Police Department, Sections 50 through 10, 50-10, eligibility for promotion, 50-11, promotion to sergeant and lieutenant, and 50-12, promotion to captain. Is presented for the public hearing and final adoption. Public hearing has been noticed as required. Do we have a motion to open to the public on this item only?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor of opening to public hearing on this item only, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. We are open for public discussion. 2 minutes on this item only. Please state your name and address, Mr. McLean.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anybody that is on the computer that wishes to speak on this matter, we ask that you open the chat window and use the raise hand feature on the lower right-hand side. If you are on the phone, we are asking that you use *3 to raise your hand, and then when you're done, hit *3 to take your hand down. So anybody wishing to speak on this, please indicate by raising your hand in the chat window.
Is there anybody there?
I don't see anyone.
Okay. If there's no one,
Is that correct, Mr. McLean?
There's no one that has raised their hand and wishes to speak on this ordinance, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I would motion then to close the public portion of the hearing on this ordinance.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, all in favor of closing public discussion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried, public discussion is closed. Do we have a motion on the item?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. I think the ordinance reading is pretty self-explanatory. We're changing the promotion process from sergeant to lieutenant, and sergeant and lieutenant to captain. Any other comments? Madam Master Clerk?
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Nijaka?
Mute.
Yes?
Okay. Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
All right, the motion or the ordinance passes. Now we have an ordinance on first reading. This is a first to announce to the public that this ordinance is something council is considering, and if passing the first reading, we'll consider and vote at another date. Ordinance 4328-20, an ordinance releasing, extinguishing, and vacating the rights of the public of a street known as Fairmont Street in the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey. Following ordinance presented to Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting publication in accordance with law, and public hearing and final adoption at a virtual meeting of the Township Council to be held via WebEx, or maybe Zoom, because I'm not so thrilled with WebEx, on Tuesday, August 11th, 2020 at 7 p.m. We have a motion to introduce.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in, seconded, any discussion? This is vacating of a road we do all the time.
Mr. Mayor, this one in particular, and actually the adjoining property owner is an attendee for the meeting right now, so I'll just explain a little bit. This was brought to my attention by Councilman Embarrasson. There's a property owner who wants to put up a fence, as it turns out, in between his property and his neighbor is a paper street which serves absolutely no purpose to the township and should have been vacated many years ago off of Bloomfield Avenue. And as a result of this being brought to our attention, the most logical thing to do right now would be to vacate this street so this gentleman can have the fence put up on what will be his new property line once this ordinance is adopted.
Any other comments? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Nijaka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
We're now on to the consent agenda. Items 8 through 6 as listed in the consent agenda portion of this meeting are presented to Township Council for adoption. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anyone want to pull an item or discuss an item? Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Nijaka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Item number 15, resolutions to be voted on separately. I present the following resolution, Township Council for adoption, resolution 20-262, authorizing the extension of the grace period for the August tax bill until September 1st, 2020. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. So this is, as it sounds, extending, as we did for our last tax bill, extending the time to give people, extending the grace period to give people some time to pay their bill. It is not yet passed by the legislature, so within this, it basically says given DCA approval. So we'll only have one meeting this in July, so we won't have another swat at this. So basically, it's as long as that gets approved, then this will take effect. Obviously, if it isn't approved by the state, then it won't. Any other discussion items? Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Chase?
Yes.
Councilwoman Francois?
Yes.
Councilman Galtieri?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Oni Chaka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
2020 boards, committees, and commission vacancies. Any nominations? I don't see any. I will very quickly read off the categories for people who are interested. Advisory Rec Council, Cultural Arts, Hamilton Street Advisory Board, Historic Preservation Commission, Local Energy Team, Open Space Advisory Committee, Planning Board, Redevelopment Agency, and Trails Committee. We have no executive session. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. We are adjourned. To Franklin, please wear your masks. Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, everybody.
Aye.